Once upon a time, there was a king named Nebuchadnezzar. Now, Nebuchadnezzar was the king of Babylon, and he was a mighty warrior. And one day, he decided that he wanted to build an idol, and it was going to be the biggest, grandest idol that the world had ever seen. So he called all the people together and he said, "When you hear the music, bow down and worship this golden idol." Then he set the great image up in the plain of Dura, and it was huge, towered above the people, a symbol of the king's power. Now 3 Hebrew men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they heard the king's command. But when the music started, they didn't bow. No, these 3 men, they stood tall because they knew that there was only one God, and his name was Yahweh, not Nebuchadnezzar. So the king saw that these 3 men did not bow. He was furious. He was angry because these 3 men wouldn't bow to his idol. And the king, he had them brought before him. And he said, "Did you not hear my command? I told you to bow down and worship the golden idol. Why didn't you?" And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they looked back at the king and they said, "Our God, he is able to deliver us from the burning furnace. And even if he doesn't, we will not bow to your idol or worship it." Oh, how strong is that? These 3 men, they chose God over the king, obedience over fear. Duh. Well, the king wasn't happy with that answer, so he gave the order. He said, "Hey, heat the furnace up. Get it hotter than you normally would, 7 times hotter." And when the furnace was ready, the king commanded that the 3 Hebrew men be bound and then thrown into the furnace. So the soldiers came, and they did as they were told. They threw the 3 men into the fiery pit, and as they fell into the flames, the fire went up higher and higher. It was so hot that the soldiers who threw them in, they died in the fire. And now Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were walking around in the fire, but the fire couldn't hurt them, and they weren't alone. There was another man with them, a 4th man, who looked like a son of the gods. Oh no. When the king saw this, he was very afraid. He was scared. And he asked one of the lords, he said, "Hey, tell me what's going on. Why do I see 4 men walking in the fire? And why does the 4th look like a son of the gods?" Then the Lord said to the king, "Your Majesty, these 4 men, they were thrown into the fire, but they're not harmed at all. And that 4th man, he looks like a son of the gods." So the king said, "No, I didn't see that. I didn't realize that. Hey, come on, grab a hold of those 4 men and bring them out of the fire." So they went into the burning furnace, and they grabbed a hold of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They pulled them out of the fire, and the king said, "Look, these 4 men have not even singed their eyebrows. Their clothes are not torn, and they don't even smell of smoke. What God have you got, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Want to know about him? Tell me about him." Then the 3 men, they just stood tall, and they said, "The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He is our God. And he sent his angel to rescue us from the burning furnace and from your hand, O king." Then the king, he fell on his knees, and he bowed his head, and he said, "I believe. From this day on, I will honor the God of Israel." You know, after that day, the 3 Hebrew men, they were given important jobs in the kingdom. And the king made a law throughout the whole empire that everyone had to respect and honor the God of Israel. We see in the story that true faith isn't bowed by fear. You see, these 3 men could have easily bowed to the idol. They could have just played it safe. They could have said, "Well, you know, I'll just pretend to worship this idol, but I'll keep Yahweh as my God." But they didn't do that. No, they took a stand. They chose obedience to God over the fear of the king, and God honored them for their faithfulness. He helped them, and he delivered them from the burning furnace. And you know what? God will do the same for you. If you put your faith in him, if you trust in him, he will help you. He'll guide you. He'll deliver you. Just trust him. Put your faith in him. Don't be afraid. Don't be fearful. Stand up for him. Stand on his word, and he will stand with you.